Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Beth Monholland. My pronouns are she, hers. I am a very short white woman in my middle years with dark curly hair and glasses, and I serve as the lead minister to this congregation, but this morning I have the deep pleasure of serving as your worship associate and welcoming you all fully into this space. I invite us to take a centering breath as we hear these words from Reverend Gretchen Haley. Every little thing that breaks your heart is welcome here. We'll make a space for it, give it its due time and praise for the wanting it represents, the longing for something more, some healing hope that remains. We promise no magic, no making it all better, but offer only this circle of trust, this human community that remembers, though imperfectly, that sings and prays, though sometimes awkwardly, this gathering that loves, though not yet enough. We're still practicing after all, still learning, still in need of help and partners, still becoming able to receive all this beauty and all these gifts we each bring. So come, let us worship together. A flaming chalice has been one of the symbols of Unitarian Universalism for many decades. And each Sunday, we join our siblings in faith by lighting our chalice here in our sanctuary. If you're joining us online this morning, I welcome you to grab a candle or just light a flame in your heart as we share these chalice lighting words from Reverend Julie Lepp. We light this chalice with hope, a sturdy flame we nurture in these difficult times. We light this chalice with the heart of compassion for a nation divided by politics and strife. We light this chalice knowing that it will take all of us to repair this world we live in. May we find rest, compassion, and the hope that we need to nurture ourselves and each other. May this sturdy light remind us of the people we can be and the difference we can make in the world together. And now, please rise in body or spirit for our opening song. It's number 1024 in the Teal hymnal, When the Spirit Says Do. You'll see in your order of service and on the screen the words we've chosen for this. This is a zipper song. So it begins with do when the Spirit says do, and then we move on to, You'll see it, sing. We'll get you along. I'm like, I don't have it written down, but you all have it. So when we are ready, Juan, thank you, and let us sing together.
executive decision from the pianist, and we accept it. Welcome once again to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. My name is Reverend Sally Fritchie. I'm honored to serve as your associate minister alongside our lead minister, Reverend Beth Monholland. I am a tall white woman with a short, gay, purple haircut, wearing a crop top and a flowy floral button-up. We are a church of many different beliefs here, many different backgrounds and identities, united by a shared commitment to our mission of building community, seeking inspiration, promoting justice, and finding peace. Whether you are here in body or joining us from afar online, we welcome you to this sacred space and hope that this service will bring what your heart needs most today. We bid a special welcome to any guests or newcomers who've joined us today and invite you to be sure to complete a visitor's card so that we know how to stay connected with you. We are a congregation of all ages, which means we embrace whatever noises or distractions might come from having all of us gathered together on Sunday mornings. And no matter what your age, if you need to move around or grab coloring supplies from under the lanyard table in the entryway, please feel free to get up and do so anytime. Today is special because this is an all ages service, which means we all stay together here in the sanctuary for the whole time instead of sending kids and teachers downstairs for their classes. The nursery is still available for anyone 5 and under, but we are delighted to have this regular monthly chance to experience Sunday morning in a more intergenerational way. Today is also special because it is Pledge Sunday, the end of our generosity campaign when we celebrate having gathered up the pledges that will allow us to plan an accurate and responsible budget for the coming church year. If you've already filled out your pledge for next year, making your best guess about what financial commitment you'll be able to make, thank you for doing that. And if you haven't, you'll have a chance today. This is the big reminder Sunday. And your order of service that you have in your hand included a little form that you can either check I already pledged, or you can fill it out right here in the service, and there will be a chance at the end to hand it in with great fanfare and celebration later in the service. We gather today, and we gather every Sunday, to remind ourselves of what is most true. The theme of our generosity campaign has been roots and branches, inspired by the strength and interconnectedness of trees. The theme of all our February Sundays is trust, and today's service will weave those themes together, reflecting on the profound act of trust that is planting a tree. Choosing to plant something today means trusting that there will be a world it can grow and thrive in. It means trusting that there will be people after we're gone willing to water and tend to it. Trusting that the effort and energy we invest today will pay off in future growth, even if it's to benefit generations we may not ever meet. My hope is that our time together today will help each of us remember the value of planting something, the value of building something, and having faith in a shared future, even amid wider uncertainties. And with that, I invite you to pause, take a breath, and then take just a moment to turn in your seat and greet those who are sitting near you. Church is so much more than just what happens up here, so take a moment to connect with some of the people who are here alongside you, and I'll call us back with a chime in just a moment. Now, I trust these conversations will continue in fellowship hour. We could always keep talking. One day we'll surprise you and have a whole service where we just never cut you off during the Greet Your Neighbor. So this is the time in our service when we'll often have a story or activity that is intended to be accessible and engaging for people of a variety of life stages and learning styles. And today we have an art activity. And because it is an all-ages service, everyone will be invited to participate. I will say if there are any kids here who want to come forward and do an art activity up here together on a big piece of paper, you're invited. But everyone should have in your pew, along kind of the center section of each of these pews, there's little cards. Everyone should have one card. If you're in the back, all your cards and colored pencils are in a little basket by the column there because you don't have pews. So come up, grab one card, one colored pencil. In the pews, you should have colored pencils in the back. Oh, I see we got more kids coming up. Come on up. And you're allowed up here too. So you can station yourself anywhere around this big paper. Cool jumpsuit. All right, so I'll start explaining. People in the back, you take your time. I see you getting your cards and pencils. So does anyone ever heard of the game Exquisite Corpse? So there's a very old-timey, it's a very long-lived game. It's a party game that's art-based. And it's where one person starts by drawing a face, and then you fold down the paper, leaving just the neck showing, and the next person draws like the torso and arms. So yeah, it's a fun game. And it's a trust game, because you have to hand off your beautiful creation to the next person and trust that they will carry it forward into some worthwhile piece of art. You might draw the most beautiful princess face you've ever drawn, and then when you get it back at the end of the game, it's got a robot torso and octopus legs. You get to start something, but you don't get to control how it looks in the end. But the reward for your trust is that you get to laugh, you get to have a good time, and see what you come up with together. So we're going to play a version of this game that we're calling Exquisite Trees. Exactly. So each of your cards, or for here, each of your drawing zones, you get to kind of choose your own drawing zone, will eventually have a drawing of a tree or a plant of some kind. And first, we're just going to draw roots. So think about how much space you want to leave there. The first round will be just drawing your own little roots. You'll have about a minute. Then I'll tell you to stop drawing, and everyone will pass their card to their neighbor. Make sense? I see some of you are already working. All right. Put as much detail as you can. We'll give you about 1 minute. And Juan will play us a little, music to accompany our beautiful art. Yeah. That's right. Theo is previewing. So each round we'll do roots, then we'll do trunks, then we'll do branches, then we'll do leaves. So everyone gets to draw roots, right? So we're going to have 5 little plants here at the end. We'll rotate around like musical chairs. All right. Go, draw your roots, draw your roots, draw your roots. We're finishing up, and now you pass your piece of paper to the left, or forward if you're at the end of the row. We're doing our best. You don't need to fold it over. I thought it'd be too hard to try and keep secrets from each other. So now everyone should be, and up here, run around to a different station. Okay, all right, you should be holding someone else's roots in your hand. And now you're gonna draw a trunk on top of those roots. A trunk or a stem, whatever the body of this plant is going to be. And the next person will draw branches, so remember to leave space. All right, then you're gonna have 5 trees. All right, ready? Draw your trunk. Does your trunk have anything living in it? Is there a little hole inside? Okay, we're finishing up our trunks. They're beautiful, I can tell. I just sense the beautiful trunk energy coming up from the crowd. Okay, next round, we're gonna pass it to the left again, or pass it to whoever you passed it to last time. This round we're drawing branches. We're drawing branches. Maybe your tree only has one branch. Maybe your tree is pointy on top. Maybe it has 1,000 branches. There's some real beauty taking shape up here on the big piece of paper. A surprising number of snakes. All right. Draw your last few lines on your branches and pass it one more time. This is the final contribution. We're going to draw leaves or flowers or needles, whatever you think your plant should have growing on its branches. Touches. Final few touches. So long as I'm talking, you guys can keep drawing. Okay, pencils down. Pencils down, and take a look, or markers. Take a look at the beautiful drawing you're holding in your hand. And you can pass it back down the way it came. Each person who contributed, take a look at what you made. Everyone up here, take a look around this paper. Sure, yeah. Your exquisite tree. All right. Up here, I don't know if you can see, we have this tree. Has snakes for roots, and it is sprouting love from the branches. We have a cactus, it looks like, growing from a tree. We have unicorns growing from trees. We have a lot of snakes from our trees. Your exquisite tree might have lavender roots and silver leaves. It might look a little bit strange, but know that you and your teammates created something here that did not exist a few moments ago, and it took your individual effort and it took your teamwork. So now, so our kids can head back to their seats now. Thank you. And we will display your beautiful art. You're welcome to bring your exquisite trees into Fellowship Hour with you, and we can display them in there and see the beautiful forest or prairie that we've created together. And now, as our kids return, I invite all of us to stand, if standing is comfortable for you, and sing one of my favorite hymns. We're going to sing it 4 times through. This is a hymn about the inevitability of growth and the promise held in the plants around us. I know this rose will open We'll sing it 4 times, one for each layer of our exquisite trees. Once for roots, once for trunks, once for branches, and once for leaves. Let's sing, I Know This Rose Will Open. Thank you for that beautiful singing. Thank you for the exquisite trees. I cannot wait to see everybody's. I mean that sincerely. So please bring your trees to Fellowship Hall so I may look over your shoulder at them. When we gather each week, we know that we are bringing with us all of who we are. We carry into this space all of our lives, all that has shaped us and is currently shaping us and moving in and through us. And so it is an act of spiritual generosity that we engage in each week to make time for our joys and sorrows. Today, I'll invite you while we sing our blessing song, May the Longtime Sun, to come to one of the 3 tables that have bowls of water with petals and stones beside them. And during that music, I'll invite you to drop a stone for a sorrow or a petal for a joy into those bowls. And so, as the stones and the petals are held, that you may trust that you also are held in compassion and love by this community. After our ritual, we will share our joys and sorrows out loud. So if there is something you would like shared aloud today, there are joy and sorrow cards in your pews. The ushers have them in the back. Please feel free during this time to write a joy and sorrow down, to bring it up during our singing of our ritual, or to pass it up to me at the end. And in silence and in music, we make space for each other. And in care, we will share aloud what needs to be shared this morning. Thank you. Let us sing.
welcome to continue bringing cards to me as I share what has already been submitted, both here in the sanctuary and what has been sent via our email. This is from our fabulous AV tech, Alyssa Knights. They share, our lovely dog Masha has fully torn through one ACL and is partially torn the other. Oh, poor baby. Waiting for surgery date in 2 weeks where she'll be getting a double TPLO. I don't know what that means, but it sounds awful. It'll be a long recovery, but it's better than seeing her in pain. Good vibes are welcome to be sent her way. Thank you, Linda. This is a joyful gratitude from Autumn Haskins, who is a member here and serves as our communication coordinator. Autumn writes, thank you to CareCorps and everyone who brought meals, checked in, bought off our registry, and so much more. We are grateful for everything you have done, and our baby boy is officially 1 month old. This is a joy from Charles Walworth. Next Saturday is my birthday, and we're going to Chicago to see Paris Paloma perform live. Sorry, I am so jealous. That is amazing. A happy birthday to Charles. And thank you. This is why I should read these before, so that I don't have a moment of like, gasping envy. This is from Willa Hartman, a joy. Willa had surgery this past week, and she shares, my surgery was successful. She's doing well. She also has a sorrow, though, that her sister Wilma fell and shattered her leg. She's been in Carle Hospital for the past week, and the doctor has to rebuild her whole leg, so please keep Wilma in your thoughts. A joy from Kayla White. For 4 years, my 4 children have lived away from me for different periods of time as I was coping with the death of my mother and trying to rebuild my life. But this past month, my youngest baby came home and my heart is complete. Congratulations. A joy from Jerry Carden. Joyful afternoon of music yesterday with 3 choirs at Wesley Methodist on the Wesley Methodist campus, Amasong, the UU Choir, and the People's Chorus. A beautiful sanctuary with amazing acoustics and sun streaming in through the stained glass windows made for a beautiful afternoon. And I will echo that. It was fabulous. It was the perfect ending to a Saturday workday for me. Thank you to everyone here who made that possible, for sharing your musical gifts. This is from Mimi and Linda. After 15 years of joyful companionship, we lost our beautiful Cocker Spaniel Olive last week. We hold space for that grief. From Cindy Ingold, a joy, happy International Women's Day, yay, yesterday, and a sorrow that women all over the world are still fighting for their equal rights. From Gail Cohen, we're wishing Sarah Weissman a fast recovery. Sarah was in the hospital this past week due to a heart attack. I did hear from Sarah today. She's doing pretty well and is home resting. This is from Evie Crago. I get to have spring break with my mom. Evie, that is fabulous. And yay for spring breaks for those who still get those. From Beth Simpson, now I can drive a car. Woo, yay, Beth. For those who don't know, Beth has also been in recovery from a stroke and regaining her full mobility, so congratulations, that is great, great news. This is also from Gail Cohen. Sunny and dreamy were waiting in kitten heaven when Tuna arrived on Tuesday the 4th. Rest in peace, sweet boy. Oh, you all, these pets breaking our hearts. They need to live forever. They won't. This is from Theo. A joy. I'm on my friend's baseball team. Theo, congratulations. And then from Christine Cahill, a joy. So grateful for the wonderful concert that she attended yesterday. The same one Jerry and actually quite a lot of you are at. It was indeed beautiful music making. And I'm especially appreciative of our choir and our choir director, MR. The music you all did was beautiful, and I know some of it was songs you've already done here, and some are songs you're going to sing later today. And it was a joy to see you all share your gifts to what felt like a really full house of community. Thank you. Thank you for sharing those joys. Thank you for sharing your sorrows. Oh, there's one more that I missed, so Sally, thank you. Oh no, I said that one. Yep, that's all right. But I am checking, because sometimes things come in late on the email. That's all spoken aloud for today. But for everything that you care silently in your hearts each and every day, and for all the ways that you come together as a community to hold space and to share and to love, I say thank you. And now, with that, I'll turn things back over to Sally. I'll get this stool.
Thank you. The best time to plant a tree, they say, is 30 years ago. And the second best time is today. This is an aphorism, sometimes falsely identified as coming from an ancient Chinese proverb, as so many supposedly do, but which actually became popular in conservation circles in the state of Georgia in the 1960s and spread from there. The best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago. The second best time is today. It's a bit of wisdom that manages to capture both the bittersweet regret of looking back and wishing you could have started sooner, and the motivating hope of knowing that there is still time if you start now. The second best time to plant a tree is today. Planting a tree is an act inherently of trust, of faith in the future. Faith that there will be rain and sun and soil and an ecosystem where that tree can live. Faith that there will be people who 30 years from now will look back and say the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago and smile their gratitude for what we did today. And I hope you know I'm not really talking about trees, or I'm not only talking about trees. Our actions today, all of our actions, what we choose to have faith in, where we put our trust, our energies, our money, our time, these are the roots and branches that will nourish and shelter a future world that will sorely need them. When I look to the future right now, there are a lot of things I question, and I sense many people around me are in their own private crises of faith. Losing faith that our democracy is still alive, faith that our economy will stand, faith that in 10 or 20 years our nation and our world will be at all recognizable to us. And amid all that loss of faith, how can we bother with planting a tree, with planting anything? How can we trust that what we do here will matter in that uncertain, scary future? But here is a truth. In every worst case scenario, I know in my bones that there will be people gathering and trying to care for one another. And what's more, I know that no matter what disasters arrive, that work will be work worth doing and will be needed. Building loving, justice-minded communities of care is the tree we can plant today. And It's the tree that was planted for us 30 years ago, and 60 years ago, and 100 years ago. This place is a tree that was planted for us long before any of us came here. And how many here have found merciful shelter under its leaves? How many of us have dug deep into connecting roots or felt truly embraced and supported for the first time by its branches? No matter what the future holds, this place will be needed in it. Each one of us here, each one of us everywhere only has so much time. Every one of us has limited resources. That's just a fact. We are finite. So let me ask, where do we want our finite selves, our finite money and time and energy to go? What do we want to invest in? Stocks? Stockpiles? Good causes? Potable water? Gold bars? Maybe all of that, but consider that one indispensable investment is in making sure that there are loving and thriving progressive faith communities in the world. I can't tell you how many newcomers I've spoken to over the years who express some version of the sentiment, I wish I'd found this place sooner. I wish I'd found this place sooner. I really needed a place like this. The best time to find this faith community, of course, was often years ago, decades ago. And the second best time is now. And now that you found it, what will you do to make sure the next person can find it too? Being here, committing to being here, making a pledge or volunteering or just being in this space and connecting with this community is a decision to trust that there will be a world that needs this church to exist. There will be a world that needs this church to exist. Trust that there will be people who benefit from our efforts far into the future. People we haven't met, may never meet. Children who are being born today who need this place to exist when they find it. We can't all have found this place 30 years ago, but we can all make sure it will be here for those who need to find it 30 years from now. We can all put trees in the ground today and trust that the sun will shine, the rain will fall, and our community, all these good people will be by our side, deeply committed to a life of justice, generosity, and love. This is our covenant. This is our prayer. This is our church. May it be so, and amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sally. I just kind of want to end there, but we've got more stuff to say and do. Our mission here is that we will build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. Metaphorically, we do that in all the ways Sally just mentioned, and literally, we do that by showing up for each other and by providing many opportunities like Sunday worship, Tuesday Vespers, and all of the programming that happens through our congregational life, social action councils, and our faith development. There are so many ways for us to engage within and beyond these walls to build a community where people thrive. And so today I have the pleasure of highlighting a few ways for you to be involved literally today and throughout the coming weeks. This morning, right after service or shortly after service, our regular Inquirer series, which is one of our faith development programs, will meet here in the sanctuary right around noon, just in the back, with Reverend Sally leading a session on UU history. So if you'd like to know more about that, please feel free to bring your coffee and a snack and come on in around noon for a very engaging session with Reverend Sally. Also at noon today, our most recent Pathways to Member class is having their potluck reunion. It will not be at Sue Stock's house as originally planned because so many of you were able to come. Yay! So we're going to meet here in the Children's Chapel at noon. Come on down for fellowship and reconnecting with the folks who just had that Pathways class. And then for all of the kids and families in the room, for the next 2 weeks, because it will be spring break here in Urbana-Champaign, we won't have regular RE classes. RE classes will happen, but we're going to do some special programming for combining classes for all ages, and it will be open to actually both children and adults. So if over the next 2 weeks you want to hang out in the RE classrooms and learn more about food insecurity, who it affects, and how our local community responds, and how we as a church community can help, then you are in for a treat next week. There are going to be guest speakers from the co-op, from the community. Our own Pat Nolan will lead some sessions about our little free pantry. And if you would like to donate to make some actual breakfast kits that we are going to have the kids and any grown-ups who want to participate that we can hand out. It will not just be learning time, it will also be service and doing time. So that will be on the 16th and the 23rd in REE. And then coming up this Friday night on the 14th, our LGBTQ and allies will be having their monthly potluck. It'll be starting at 6 p.m. in Fellowship Hall with conversation, kinship, and food. And then starting at 7, there will be a meeting portion that will be available both in person and so it'll be multi-platform. The food portion, of course, cannot be multi-platform, but come and have food if you can. And if you can't, then just join them for the important conversation about how we are responding to the needs of our trans and queer kin. So those are some of the many things happening just this week. There's a lot more going on. We invite you to seek the ways that this community can feed your spirit and your desire and longing for connection. Read our weekly e-news and check out our website for all of the events and all of the programs here to meet your needs. And as Sally has already said, today is the culmination of our pledge drive where we celebrate your generosity, and you are generous in so many ways. You give of your time, you volunteer, you give of your talents, and of course you give of your financial treasures. You do that through pledging, which is the main way that we sustain the life of this church, but also through the offering that we collect on Sunday mornings. On Sunday mornings, all of the non-pledge funds that we receive in the offering, we share with the organization doing the work of justice in our community. This month, in March, our shared offering partner is RACES. That is the Rape Advocacy Counseling and Education Services, which is a community-based rape crisis center serving East Central Illinois. Today, as we collect our offering, you can give through Realm, you can go online through our portal, and here in the sanctuary, our basket will be passed. You can give by check or by cash. If you're giving by check, just make sure if you want it to go to the shared offering that you indicate that in the memo line. Half of what you give will indeed go towards this church's operations, half will go to RACES, and we invite you to give whatever is generous for you. Thank you, and our offering will now be gratefully received.
Good morning. I'm Janet Ravel Barrett, and I'm honored to serve with Mona Shannon as a co-chair of the Generosity Campaign this year. I am a moderately tall, ample, white woman recently retired with white hair to match, wearing mostly black with splashes of purple. When we sing, "I Know This Rose Will Open," or "A Rose in the Wintertime," I always have a silent little smile to myself, a little extra glow. Roses are a through line in my life, a part of my identity that stems from my family's love of flowers. Growing up in the seed and nursery capital of the Midwest, and expressed even in my name. My middle name is Rose. I'm Janet Rose. My little sister was Rosemary, and my father's name was Bud. My maternal grandmother, Nana Marguerite, reveled in the beautiful rose garden she maintained in the backyard of our Shenandoah, Iowa home. She planted and tended 75 rose bushes of all colors and varieties. I can just picture her with her sun hat and her snippers, watching over every blossom, and her roses were really breathtaking. My mother, whose name was Bonnie Jean, I don't know how she escaped having a rose name, but her complimentary specialty was baby's breath, you know, the little tiny white flowers, which grew in abundance in a sunny spot near the garage. And her output was so bountiful that I remember helping to harvest big bushel baskets. We actually put them in laundry baskets of baby's breath, which we would carry around to florists during the month of June and wedding season. So understandably, I've also felt a little bit of pressure to have some prowess as a gardener. And over decades of attempts, I've had some successes with daylilies and peonies, but really, to be honest, they flourish without much attention. Roses and baby's breath just don't seem to flourish under my care. And isn't it funny how we figure out ways to excuse our shortcomings? It's not that I water inconsistently, prune at the wrong time, or put off weeding. Instead, my explanation is that the prairie soil here in central Illinois just must be lacking in nutrients, or the wrong pH balance, or too much clay loam, or something like that, right? Or in other words, my grandmother and my mother had better dirt than I do. Nonetheless, I persist, planting other flowers and hoping each spring that they'll flourish. It's the time of year when we're lured by seed catalogs, the profusion of colors at garden centers, and the tips of tulips just poking out through winter's straggle. Have you noticed that? It's just so great. In these difficult times, we cling to an orientation toward growth, the promise of the possible. And really, spring is just the perfect time for a generosity campaign, don't you think? So growth, of course, is the promise of UUCUC, that we find ways to root our mission and vision of a more just and loving world in a medium that will support our plans and projects, enabling ministry within these walls and throughout the community, and nourishing the collective ways we plan and hope and dream to move forward. And I think about growth every Sunday when the children come racing up the center aisle to cluster up here, and it just makes me so glad to be part of this community. Surrounded by so much need and uncertainty, responding to the campaign feels like an expression of care and reassurance. Over the past few weeks, Austin Warren, Emily Lageson, and Ann Newman, with the help of Robbie the dog, you remember that, have shared their reasons for pledging, their priorities for giving, and their encouragements to participate in this generosity campaign. Mona, Shannon, and I wish to extend our deep gratitude to Jerry Fry and to others who shared their time and energies toward these efforts. In your order of service, you'll find a QR code on the back of one of the sheets that will allow you to do online pledging, but just you wait for an explanation of these great sheets and what's going to happen next, moving from this sanctuary into Fellowship Hall after the service. A sign of this generosity campaign, and it was fun to plan, is our generosity tree in the Fellowship Hall. So if you haven't put your own leaf there saying that you've pledged, please do that, and let's watch that tree go from the first week when the leaves were sparse to a full array of gorgeous leaves. So please stop to fill out that tree. On this Pledge Sunday, the congregation is grateful to all those who have pledged, all those who pledged for the first time, and all those who've agreed to increase their pledge from previous years. This spirit of generosity expressed in so many ways, and for me that always includes time, talents, care, hospitality, the spirit of friendliness and fellowship and welcome here, as well as material resources, make possible for our roots to be firmly established in fertile soil, the branches extending in so many directions according to our mission, and the blossoming of our work in the world. So your pledge is an affirmation, a promise of sorts that we know this rose will open.
I feel like the choir should always have walk-up music. My name is M.R. Rowland, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm a short Hispanic trans person with short black hair and brown eyes, a little bit of facial hair finally coming in. I'm wearing a maroon flannel shirt with a cream-colored t-shirt underneath, and I am the choir director here. Today, the choir will sing a song called Closer to the Flame. Lucky for me and for the choir, Beth moved our actual chalice further towards the front, so I'm not too close this week. As we say at the start of each service, the flame of our chalice brings us together with our siblings of faith. For some, the metaphor of the flame describes the Holy Spirit. For others, the flame represents danger and discomfort, while for some, that flame represents possibility of rebirth. Whatever the flame represents for you, today, the choir will sing about flying closer to it, making a deliberate choice to move closer to an experience even when it becomes challenging. We will all face the future, flying closer to the flame, deepening our relationships with one another and supporting our communities.
Let's go.
We close today knowing that we will all plant seeds that we don't get to see fully grow into their power. And we do it because we trust it will be worthwhile. We do it because we are grateful to those who did it for us. I personally know that I've had a chance to see so many beautiful beginnings here in this congregation. And I know I will not be here long enough to see how everything unfolds and grows and flourishes. But I believe in it. I believe the planting mattered. I believe the world to come will need the shade of our tree, the beauty and resources and gathering spaces that grow out of the seeds that we plant today. And I trust that there will be people long after I'm gone willing to show up and nurture everything that's growing here. I believe in this place. I believe in you. Please know that what is here is precious, is worthy, and is going to be here for a long time, thanks to you. Now let's extinguish our chalice, and as our postlude music plays, everyone is invited to process up the central aisle with your little half sheet and drop your ceremonial pledge form in the basket, and then make your way out into Fellowship Hall for food, fellowship, and we'll set up an artistic display of our beautiful tree art that we made earlier in the service. With that, we'll extinguish our flame with these familiar words from UU Minister Reverend Elizabeth Selly-Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Now come on forward, drop your pledge half sheet in the basket.